Hey,
boards.
hey, Coach, how are you?
Like my boy Martin said, I'm just healing.
I know you just chilling. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Yeah, we got two hot films we're gonna be talking about this tonight. So I'm
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I'm on break
excited.
like this. I'm like, ooh, all right.
I know. So I say, let's get going. It's another edition, and it's the last in Black History Month. Talk on Tuesdays. Let's go.
Let's man, I was sitting there just grooving.
It's another edition of Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays, and we are back in the saddle doing our thing. And of course, this episode is brought to you by what? A new ebook. It's called A DJ Saved My Life. That's right, I'm writing books, Coach.
Last night a DJ saved my life.
You better sing it.
Last night DJ saved my life, baby. But I was
Mhm.
sitting there all alone. Just one boy. Gotta get up, gotta get up, gotta get down. But don't get me started. Don't get me. Hey, I may think this karaoke night.
Oh my gosh, I know. So this is a new book. It's based on my advice, the ABCs of podcasting, but more important, it's talking about why and how interludes, podcasting, and virtual DJing on the ones and twos saved my life. If you guys want to go ahead, pick up a copy, scan the QR code. And of course, we've had some people already purchase the ebook.
Okay.
We want to say hello and thanks to Nicole Thomas, Terrence P. Elmore, Jill Collins, Terry London, and others. Oh my gosh. So if you guys, it's going to be a big reveal on next week, March 5th, because it's coming out next week.
No, that's right.
I'm
Hey, but
excited.
you
I'm
know,
excited. That's what's up. Let's see who
I
is
got
in the
I
building.
gotta have
Springer.
I gotta
Let's see.
have my copy autographed. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do special edition Coach Tony. You know, I gotta have it. So when like Martin said, I'm like a brother at a gas station. We about to blow up. When you what Cole say? When you blow up, we blow up. Boom.
Oh my gosh. And of course, it is something that I've been looking forward to. If you go ahead, if you want to become a sponsor or book time with us here on Interludes, do ahead and do that. Book time with me, Val the Voice Johnson. And that is the website. Thank you so very much, Mr. Springer. Man, oh man, I am ready to get into it because I got a chance to see two interesting films over the weekend. And I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention this. Interludes presents patreon.com. Oh my gosh. If you guys want information about how to start a podcast, all that information is over at Patreon. Join our community today. And thank you so very much, Mr. Springer. He is also one who has an early copy and has requested a signed autograph copy of Last Night at DJ Saved My Life. Thank you so much.
There you go. Hey, Spring, I'm right with you, baby. I'm right with you, Spring.
I know. So Coach Tony is joining me on today, and we're doing this. I'm gonna be reviewing, and I got a chance to see One Love, Bob Marley.
Yes.
Now it's not the Houdini. I know you're thinking one love.
Nah,
You're looking
I
just
know
to have
that one is. I know that one is.
love.
But you got to put the gunja stick in your mouth one day.
Oh my gosh. So quick question. Do you remember the movie King Richard? You remember the movie
Yes.
King Richard?
Remember King Richard? Yes.
Okay, so a little fun fact here because I did not know this. This was me doing a kind of a deep dive into the film. This got released on Valentine's Day, which is about 10 to 12 days just before now. And oh my gosh, the director Ronaldo Marcus Green, and he directed King Richard and We Own This Series. Oh, We Own the City, the
We on the
series.
city. Yeah, oh, that was. Did you ever see that?
That
We
was
on the
tight.
city.
Yeah,
That's
so
real
he
tight.
directed this, and it's a biopic. That is the real Bob Marley. That's him. I
Yeah,
did
it's
not.
fine.
There's some things that I didn't know about Bob, and here's the thing: I'm not from Jamaica. I would not know. Yeah, man, I'm not from Jamaica. I'm not from
Yeah,
Jamaica,
man,
man.
you got to be able to talk to Tilt down there in Jamaica, man. And you
Uh,
got to be able to see what we see down here in Jamaica, man. If not, don't be impressed with me, man.
there was a lot of weed smoking up and through the film. I got a contact high watching One Love. I'll
It
say
was
that.
just coming through the TV.
It was coming through the TV. But I have to say, there was a transformation that happened. British actor, well known. He's known for who is this? Peaky Blinders. That's one of the Showtime shows that he was on, and then he recently was in Barbie. I can't believe
Oh,
it.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
as the dude that was hanging out with Ken.
he was one of the Kens. Kinsley Ben Adair. So he transforms, and I feel that he truly embodied the essence of Bob Marley. And here's a familiar face. Guess who's one of the producers, along with Ziggy Marley, his son. You recognize the face? Who is that?
I know that that ain't Kevin Costner, not Costner, but can't think of his name off the top of my head.
So that's Brad Pitt.
Pitt, yeah, I can see. I knew I saw his face in some movies. So he had something to do with this.
He was one of the executive producers on it. So
Oh,
I
wow.
I saw his name come across in the end credits after seeing some things about Bob, and I'm thinking he produced this.
So that's a huge expansion in his mental mindset. I bet he really wanted to jump on that project. One, because it was Bob Marley, but two, just probably just to learn a little bit more he didn't know.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is one of the there's been a lot of films that's been done about Bob Marley, but this is one of the few that has been approved by the Marley family, as you see pictured here. The lead
Zig,
actor, Kingsley Ben Adair, and then you have Ziggy there in the middle, and then of course you have Brad Pitt, who's putting up the money for it as well. But what was good was that, now keep in mind, I said Kingsley. Kingsley is actually a British actor.
right.
So he has a very strong British accent, but somehow he mastered the Jamaican accent very
And
well.
it's like you're born Get Out. He's from London. He got to get out. He's learn how to speak English. So I get it.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here going, I'm like, I'd love to see this. Love to see this film. I'd love to check it out. And when I kept seeing the previews for it, they previewed this movie like nuts, like in like November and December. So I was like,
Yep.
as soon as this comes out, I'd love to see it. And so I checked it out, and so there is some phenomenal actors behind what we see. And one of the standouts is the young woman who portrays Rita Marley. And I saw a scene with her. Lasana Lynch was on the press tour doing and acting and talking about this film. I mean, she transforms. I know you guys know her from one of the James Bond films, the Woman King. She's really great in that as well. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting up here like, okay, let's go, honey, let's go. No Time to Die. That was the Bond. That was the Bond movie.
No
She's.
time. That was a good one too.
I know. James Norton from Little Women is in here as well. Ashton Barnett Jr., Tolson Cole, House Party. I don't know if you remember that. They remade House Party. So there you go
Yep.
with that.
Remade House Party. Yep.
But yeah, so and it's a good mix of English, Jamaican, as well as American actors that's in this film. It was shot in Kingston, Jamaica, and so I'm sitting here going, hopefully things was to the liking of Ziggy Marley. I believe he's the eldest of the children, of the eldest of
Oh,
children. And here's the thing: What do you know and what do you remember about Bob Marley? I'll ask that of the chat, but what do you remember and know about him, Coach?
Well, on the DJ side of the house, Val, he had just phenomenal side on the music, and so I was always a big guy here for music, and to just listen to a lot of his music outside of One Love, that album that he had put out, several albums that just absolutely phenomenal, and then to be in position to be one of those guys that your country look up to as
I
though like you're an
know.
athlete or a superstar. Marley had that type of status, and and the fight. From what I remember as well, he also was a part of the fight for Jamaica in terms of Jamaican freedom and so forth and so on. So he did a lot of that. He wasn't just your typical artist, but he actually stood in line like a Jesse Jackson does here with Rainbow Coalition. That's the same thing that Bob did there for his own country.
Yeah, and the one thing that I will say about this is that he just was very well known when it came to number one, his music. It was first Bob Marley and the Wailers.
The Wailers, yeah.
Rita, yeah, and when Rita was his backup singer and did that type of thing. And I asked you guys in Facebook, like, could you name your favorite or vote on your favorite Bob Marley song? And so if you guys could let me know in the chat which one of those songs that we voted on. Now I'm gonna look in here and check it out and see who voted for what. But I'm telling you, I'm taking a look at it here, and my goodness, the votes are in. The votes are in. There were 7 songs, and I'm gonna run through them real quick. Jammin', that came from the album Exodus. You remember that
Yep.
song? Could You Be Loved? The
Could
Sun
you
Is
be loved?
Shining.
Yeah.
War,
Oh, war.
Rastaman Vibration, Redemption Song, I Shot the Sheriff. I remember that one
I
too.
shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
And Three Little Birds, which is Don't Worry About a Thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So,
I'm gonna give you mine real quick on the
okay.
DJ side house. If the question for you real quick before I give you my answer, were you able to see the movie in those big old plush seats that they got in the theaters now?
Yeah, I was. Myself and a few others that went to check it out, we were able to do the nice recliner. Now, I was really pushing to get the Dolby stereo sound where I could be engulfed by the music and it could vibrate through the seat, but we didn't get that lucky, but we
But you
did
gotta
check it
be
out.
if you got the seats like that, you gotta be engulfed with the. So the other question is, did you go to a normal theater or did you go to the hood theater?
I went to a normal theater. I stayed away from the hood theater because I didn't want people talking through the movie.
You gotta go to the hood theater so they tell you about the whole movie before it starts, and everybody's smoking, and somebody going. If you go to the bathroom and come back, somebody in your seat. You know what I'm saying?
I don't excuse me, I have outgrown all of those things now. I don't do them anymore. And thank you so much, Mr. Springer, for that. Oh my gosh. But
but the song that I've got to say, my top 2, that I think
okay.
is probably the top 2 ever by Bob. I love War. War
Okay.
was a great song because again talked about the fight and the plight that was going on with his people there in Jamaica. And that song War was ridiculous, especially on the club scene back in the day. And then like I just threw what was the last one you just said? You mentioned the last song.
Could You Be Loved? The Sun Is Shining, Redemption Song, and I Shot the Sheriff.
I Shot the Sheriff. That I Shot the
Okay.
Sheriff song, it went across all genres. The one thing that was cool about that, it reminded me of an old Bruce Springsteen type feel. When
Oh,
you
okay.
when Bruce just had that, Bruce just had he was king. Bruce just had that rock and roll hit that I don't care if you was at a house party or if you was an R&B party, they dropped that on that. You knew who Bruce was. You knew when you heard a Bruce Springsteen song. And I think the same thing for Bob Marley at this time, setting himself apart from the other singers that were there. There was obviously a lot more singers in Jamaica coming up at that time, but Bob was just so big. And when he did that, I shot the sheriff. That was a whole nother level for me.
Well, the winner, drum roll, please. The winner for the favorite song out of the 7, and I thank you guys so much for voting out of the 12. We have a lot of votes here. It is "Could You Be Loved" from the
Come on, man.
Uprising LP that was released in 1980. So that is people's favorite that voted. My personal favorite is "Jammin'."
Yeah,
I
jamming was
hope
that.
you like jamming too.
Yeah, yeah, that was. Tell you, if you just gotta. Sometimes people look at the mainstream song on an album, which is not really sometimes always the cut. Like you were just saying. But now, where did Shot the Sheriff and War fall in those votes?
They were 2 and 4
Okay.
respectively. Yeah, so they were there. Now I don't know if you remember "One Love" at one point, that particular song, "One Love," was actually was used by the Jamaican Tourists Association to welcome people to Jamaica. Like they would play it and have people, come to Jamaica based
So,
on this song and feel all right. So I was
I-
like, okay.
oh yeah, I remember that. A lot of the commercials.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Those commercials that came, and I have to say, the press tour, Ziggy went with Lashana and Kingsley everywhere to promote this film. It was well received in Jamaica when it premiered. I want to say
Nice.
about a week or two before its international release on the 14th. But it has done wonderfully. To date, is made 128 million.
Oh wow.
In its opening weekend, it did about 30 million. So, congratulations to the entire cast, as well as Ziggy and everyone like that. Now, this is my only criticism. Uh, I understand we tell the biography stories a little bit out of order. They only kind of focus in on, like, I want to say 1976 to, like, almost to him leaving and him passing. But, it's a little bit of a hint, unfortunately, that Bob was a little bit of a ladies' man on his wife. And he has, I believe, 9, 10 kids. I'm not sure. How many do you remember, Coach? I think he has about.
Not sure, but he should
Mhm.
have saying Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Till
Lashana,
it-
Lashana Lynch kind of plays Rita Marley with this very reserved. I am,
I like
I'm
her though.
here,
I really
but
like her.
if I could punch my man, I would. That's the look I had that I read on her face. Like, oh my, and there's only like 1 or 2 scenes that kind of mention or throw out the hint that he's out there, doing his thing. But if you look at any documentaries and they kind of go into a deep dive on Bob,
Right.
we realize that Bob is out there. He was out there just
Now,
it wasn't
let
just
me ask
one
you a
love.
question.
It was many loves.
So let me ask you a question. I'm about to read someplace too. Wasn't he a pretty good soccer player as well?
Yeah, yeah. One thing that he unfortunately, I believe there was a scene where they showed where he injured his toe or injured his foot, but unfortunately, he developed some type of skin cancer.
Oh
And
wow.
unfortunately, I think he was so focused on making music and touring that he decided, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. And he didn't really check that out. There was a very powerful scene where the doctor's letting him know, okay, this is what's happening with you, and you're going to have to slow down, or this has got to happen.
Sure.
But the most powerful scene is, and it was early in the film. I was thinking, why did this come so early in the film? Where I didn't realize there were people that was trying to kill him, and he was in his home. He had just finished the rehearsal, and he makes eye contact with the young kid that shoots him, and he shoots his manager. But the
Wow.
look that these two actors give each other, it's kind of like, come on, man, I'm in my own home. I'm in my kitchen. Don't do this. And the young kids got that look like, I don't want to do this, but I've been instructed to. And
Yeah.
I
If I
I
don't do this,
read
it's
all
gonna
of
be
that in
either
their
me or
facial
you.
expression. happens. But what was most powerful was later in the film, this young man comes back and he asks Bob to forgive him. And I got a little emotional because I'm thinking this is pretty powerful here. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so I'm sitting here going, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the film is whitewashed. They don't really, delve into his his family life. They don't really talk about his womanizing and all the rest of that." And I'm thinking, do we really need to get into that? And think about it. Ziggy, who is by Bob and Rita, I guess he was like, we'll mention it, but I want y'all to focus in on the music and the purpose of why
Right.
he did the music. Let's focus
Yeah,
in
because
on that.
I think if he'd have done a film in that direction and did that, it wouldn't have been well received.
Mhm.
And nor would you have received the message that Ziggy was talking about. It would have been lost in translation. And
Right.
I think it's real good. And we talked about him playing sports as a different thing outside the music because he was playing at that time that Pele was hot.
Yes, he sure was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you got to remember, so you're playing on that side. So that said that Bob was a pretty decent athlete, and then to make the music, and sometimes the music just consumes you, and it sounds like that's what happened with him. And then he moved on. And obviously, he was able to give it and pass it down to his kids, and then Ziggy's been able to run with it.
Very much so, very much so. And then other parts of his kids have been as well. Because I have to say, if you have the last name of Marley, and this was interesting, some of the kids that were by other lovers or other women, Rita gave the Bob wanted them to all have the last name Marley, and some of them, unfortunately, she was told or she was instructed to raise them. And so it's just
Oh wow!
I praise Rita, number one, for being such a strong woman, for being someone that stood by Bob's side besides the crazy.
No matter
She's
what,
the one in the film. There's a powerful scene with Lashana Lynch and Kingsley, where them as Bob and Rita, where she calls him out and says, "Look, it's getting to your head now, and this manager that you've hired is taking your money. So
oh wow!
I need you to pay attention to this." And it was kind of like a bubble up, like because I was just like, why does she look so pained? She's singing these great songs and she's looking like, if I could punch my man, I would. That's the look I read.
Right? Because I'm out here singing, but you paying me Babyface and Tony Braxton money. Pennies, pennies on the dollar.
So if you haven't seen it, it's still in theaters. Please, if you are a fan of the music, and please go check it out. I'd see just for the Lashana Lynch and Kingsley Ben Air performance. They are phenomenal. I felt like they truly embodied Bob and Rita. And then, of course, the other actors that are in the film, they literally round things out, and it's beautifully shot. And the gentleman who did King Richard, he directed
That's
this
nice.
film. So please give it a watch if you don't want to go to the theaters, make sure you go ahead and stream it at home when it becomes available. Oh my gosh.
Or as Coach Tony's recommendation, go to the hood theater so you can just embellish everything. You
I
hear
don't
the
know if I want to go to
conversation.
the hood theater. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you will feel like you're in Jamaica because there's gonna be some ganja going on, some talking going on, everything. All I just tell you, use the bathroom before you go because your seat will be taken when you get back.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So guys, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And then of course, go ahead and hit the like button. Even if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit the like button and we'll go ahead and do that. And we appreciate it. I see some folks are watching us on Facebook. My cousin out in California,
Right?
Petey, is checking us out. Thank you so much for checking out. And then of course, Kara Jolliffe, who was a professor at North Central, just tuned in. Hi,
Oh,
Kara.
okay, Carol. Hey, while you tuning in, make sure you like us, you share us, and more importantly, subscribe to Interludes Talk on Tuesday with my girl, Boom, Valid Voice. And you already know me, Coach Tony. We're gonna do our thing.
All right. It's time to go into this one.
Yeah, I got one. Let me get my pom poms out. Hold on. Go get my popcorn.
Oh man. Okay, so I asked Tony to watch this so we could properly review this and talk about it. And of course, I'm grateful that we have a little bit of a difference of opinion. But Tyler Perry released on over the weekend, I think on Friday, February 23rd, Mea Culpa. Now, that is actually a Latin term, and it's something it means something legally. There's been a couple of
Right.
films that name that, and it
Yep.
means, what does it mean? I had it written down here. It means something, and I forgot what it means. But anyway, when a criminal defense attorney, and this is portrayed by Kelly Rowland, takes on this murder case where she's defending this multimedia artist, a painter, Zaire. I don't even know if that's a real name. Portrayed by Trevante Rhodes, and of course, things are not as they seem. It's painted as an erotic thriller, and she's trying to, find and defend the innocence of Zaire. But is he really innocent? We don't know, because he's got this scowl or whatever. Anyway, Tyler Perry, this is him.
I say
Uh,
innocent if he didn't go to jail.
so he's a seductive client. He's someone or whatever. So this is something that he's written and directed.
Yep.
Trevante, if you recognize Trevante Rhodes, most notably for the Oscar-winning film Moonlight. And then a
Yep.
few other films that he's done. And of course, one of my favorite actors, Aronco Lee. I love this kid. He was in Survivor's Remorse. And
Love that
so,
dude.
yeah. And then, of course, Kelly Rowland, most
Now
famously
you know the
known.
Survivor's Remorse. You know what that was about, right?
What was that?
I said when he was in Survivor's Remorse, you know what that short film was, who that was about, right?
The series was actually done by our
No,
LeBron James.
yep, LeBron James. There was
Mhm.
a play on that, so that was good. But he played again the same solid role in this movie. So I'm gonna let you, give me your spin on things. I'm gonna give you the other side. You got, like the brass say on the A side, welcome to the B side.
Mhm. Well, I will say this: it was it was a strong effort on Tyler to be, I want to call it, enticing or alluring, or have it. The number one thing that happens in thrillers or things like this is that the two main characters have got to have that it factor, where it's like coming off the screen. It's like Basic Instinct or Fatal Attraction, like Glenn Close and Michael. Why can't I think of his name right now? It slipped my brain just that quickly. So it's those type
Michael
of
Douglas.
films that I think that he was kind of channeling for Mea Culpa. And then the music, I wanted some of my favorite songs I was hearing from Isaac Hayes,
Yes.
Isley Brothers. I was just like, okay, we know what he was listening to. And when Tyler Perry was on the press tour with Kelly Rowland and Trevante Rhodes, he was talking about he had a Pacific, listening thing of music that he had. Who you see in the picture that portrayed the brother-in-law and husband Kelly Rowland, they are actually brothers, Nick Segar and Sean Segar.
Oh
They
wow.
are from England, and I know Nick from the Princess Switch on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen those Christmas movies. He plays this really nice, cute guy that is in love with one of the princess, but he's not a lovely, sweet guy in this one. So he's being a real pain. Kelly O'Malley plays the mother-in-law from You Know Where, and
From here.
just some of the lines that Tyler writes, they're almost, it comes off so.
Raunchy.
No, it's not raunchy. It's just, why would it monster-in-law? I was thinking about the J-Lo and the other
Oh
film, the film that J-Lo was in. But for some reason that was cleverly funny. But unfortunately, Carrie O'Malley is portraying Azea, the mom who has cancer, supposedly has cancer, is
Right.
just so downright mean to Mia, and that's
Off the rip.
Kelly Rowland's character, and this is Nick, her son. And I was thinking that, okay, so I guess the father is black or whatever, but whatever. And then of course I was trying to figure this out. Adrienne Baran, she plays Jenna. She's married to Nick Cigar's character, and she's carrying a very dark secret that she hasn't revealed, and she should have revealed, but we're gonna keep that moving. But you got this gentleman here. You got Zaire, who is insisting, number one, well, let's meet at my loft. What is that about? I don't. Do you want to take me on as a lawyer? He's smirking. His character is smirking all through the film. And I'm like, why is he smirking? He's up for murder. Is he really up for murder? But then there's a couple of times where he gets serious, like, I didn't do it. I didn't kill my girlfriend. And I'm looking like, why are you delivering your lines with such deadpan? And I was like, I've seen you like this
like
is
OJ. The club don't fit.
I don't understand it. But the best thing about Mea Culpa, Coach, is how it was promoted.
Now, I love y'all, and I ain't got to even say for promotional purposes only. Now, on the B side, for y'all guys out there that's listening, I liked it. I thought that it was the edge of excitement from a thriller romance side of the house, meaning that Tyler left you to figure out the missing pieces, which I thought was pretty good. The only thing I didn't like about it that I thought he could have done better is that I thought he could have set up the intro of the movie better, meaning that, they went right into the legal situation with Zaire. I thought that they could have at least, because the husband and wife, her and her husband was having problems, could have maybe said, how some films, Val, say, 2 years ago, and went back to show up into the situation. I thought they could have went back. He could have done a better job of went back to the actual case itself, where, like How to Get Away with Murder, how they used to flash back and show what actually happened at the house the night the murder occurred or whatever, and then allowed you to put the pieces together after you thought he did or he didn't do it. And then the thing that I really liked about it is that he simply got his lawyer, Kelly Rowland, intertwined into a spider's web, and he asked her, you got to choose from the right side of the law and right and wrong and representing me, or you got to choose from the wrong side and come get this chocolate. So, so
and wait a minute, Mark is on here being completely bad. He's like, oh, just admit it. You have a crush on that brother, Val. The child was born in 1990. He's young enough to be my kid. I can't.
Hey, Mark, in 1990, I was getting in trouble. But I'm just saying, you got a situation like that, Val, so he leaves it. So you got to think about this real life situations. I'm sure those occur. And what I thought about, the first thing I thought about when I went through is what is in the news right now?
What's in the news right now?
Yeah, in a situation that's going on where this movie portrayed, what situation in world news that's happening right now?
You'll have to tell us, Coach.
The DA in Atlanta with her supposed lover in Donald Trump's situation. The only thing is different, there's no murder there. But the point he was trying to make is that you representing this part of the law, but you also have someone attractive. Could have been a male lawyer with someone like Vanessa Williams, right? Or Taraji or whoever playing the character. And you got to decide, hey, do I stick to my grounds and represent this case, or do I put my entire career on the line? Well, the crazy part about this was he knew from day one, as he told her, I saw the moment you walk in to my loft, I looked in your eyes and asked you one question. And the way you answered that question, I knew at that point you want to get at me. So I like how Tyler pushed the button. The piece that I really didn't like what he did is that I thought that tying the murder situation, because the whole movie was about this person that got killed. Don't want to give it away for those who haven't seen it, but the whole thing about this person got killed, Tyler just never showed any of that, and it made no sense. And then when Kelly runs up on the young girl in the DR file, she only was in two scenes, right? One on a picture and one in that scene, and she was the one that's supposed to be dead. So that's the only thing I didn't like about the
And
movie. But overall, I thought it was a good love suspense movie.
yeah, and you're getting some love for Mr. Springer. He says good recollection, coach, and appreciate that as well. So I'll go back to my initial point. I believe the best way to market a film is what we saw in the press that happened throughout, I want to say, the week leading up to Friday, February 23rd. You had Tyler, you had Kelly, you had Trevante. They were out here. This is from, I believe they had a New York premiere, and a
Mm-hmm.
very famous theater guest came, Miss Beyonce, and of course there's
Okay.
Kelly with Michelle Williams.
They
I
should have
don't
broke
know, and
out
I wanted to
to a
just
song.
briefly mention this. I just wanted to briefly mention this. They kept, and now Beyonce released some country song, and they kept bugging Kelly about Beyonce and what she was doing. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Well, you and I had an in-depth conversation about that. I really liked the way she handled it. So last
Mhm.
week, prior to the release of the movie, Destiny's Child had gotten back together. Obviously, she had told them what she was doing. So she ended up on NBC, and Savannah Guthrie ended up interviewing her. And the day that she interviewed her, the previous day before she did that, she was supposed to be on a talk with her and Hoda. And Hoda is obviously the newscaster from NBC in the morning. And supposedly the situation that Kelly walked away from the talk was because she didn't have a proper dressing room.
And
And
not the talk, you mean the Today Show?
yes. And
Right.
supposedly Hoda was like, I didn't know nothing about it. I had
Mhm.
no idea because I just thought it was just go back here and you guys come out and have a conversation. And Hoda was like, she never mentioned it to me. As a matter of fact, we were backstage laughing and joking about everything. Well, when all the smoke died down and they came back the following day, they found out it had nothing to do with the dressing room, but it had something to do up on the interview. And as she was being interviewed, she was asked about Beyonce's Texas Hold'em, the new song off her country album. And Savannah Guthrie wouldn't let it go. And she kept saying, that's my sister, good for her. But I thought we talked about this movie. And then she made a comment to the fact that, oh, we'll get to the movie, but let's talk about Beyonce's album first. And what do you think about this and that? And then she started to kind of roll her eyes and kind of push back a little bit. And then she just said after a few minutes in the interview, you know something? You figured out. Took a mic off, stormed off the stage, and left the studio. Well, the following day, you remember Big Ticket?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That was the interview in Atlanta.
right. So she ended up being on the Big Ticket show, on the radio show, and Ticket was laughing and joking about it, but he wanted to ask her a similar question. And she said, if you want that answer, you need to call Beyonce. Then she gave him a wink. Or we can do just like I did on the TV show yesterday, which meant that you can keep going down this lane and I can walk out because I'm trying to promote this movie that I'm about to get to these Lincolns for.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And I'm telling you, this is the thing I have to say, Kelly has been acting in films for a good long while, and she's been a lead in those beautiful, like, Lifetime and Hallmark, cutesy little films. And so she took on the lead actress as well as the executive producer, which means you're putting up some of your money for
Yep.
this. So she had you know, a vested interest in promoting this film. And I understand, yes, I was with Destiny's Child for all of these years or whatever, and I grew up with, everyone knows, I grew up with Beyonce and her
Right.
mom and everything like that. But I'm my own person.
I got to
Please
make my
talk
living.
about this film, because I put in some hard work in working with
Sure.
Tyler Perry with this. Just let me talk about that. Let me
Yeah,
live. I don't know why my friend released a country album and I can't talk
correct.
to that. So
It's
I
like
much kudos to Kelly.
it's like the young rapper, Val, or the
Mhm.
young comedian like Mike Epps and all them boys talk about it. Cat Williams. You got to put on that. You got to drop that comedy show, but you got to go sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? You don't sell them tickets, then you ain't getting nobody to show. You ain't getting paid. So
Exactly.
she's not at that stage of walking door to door selling tickets anymore. But the point was is this supposed to be a release on national TV? Talk about the movie. Ask me what should we be looking for? How'd you feel about the movie? How'd you feel about the role and the character you played? They didn't ask her one thing, and it ended up being a downfall. But you know what's funny, Val? In the last 2 or 3 weeks, Beyonce's name's been popped up in everybody else's business. Have you noticed that? During the Super Bowl, she
Mhm.
popped up on Usher. Doing Kelly's, she pops up on Kelly. So if you're going to get free marketing, I think she's done a heck of a job of doing that.
Yeah. Well, I now need to get to Tyler. I got to go in right now. I got to go in. So this is it's fair. So
With the
let's
drum
talk
roll.
about the good stuff. The good stuff is that he's from the films
Good
I
movie,
started to
good movie.
notice a change. It started with this particular film. This came out in 2012, Good Deeds.
Mhm.
And he was the leading man in this, but there was no chemistry between him, Gabrielle Union, and the other young lady that's in here. Just there was no chemistry. So I was like, okay, well, he's probably got to pass. He's got to give that out to somebody else. Then a couple of years later, he does this. He does Tyler Perry's Temptation. The
Yeah,
actors in this particular film, they did actually have some I want to call it some chemistry there. And it was good to see Brandy in here as well, kind of like a
right.
cautionary tale, trying to warn this person. Acrimony,
That was
Taraji
with the
P.
killer.
Henson.
Ooh, that was the killer. And that was during Taraji's heydays on Empire. So everybody would tune in because it was, they trying to see what Cookie doing up in this movie.
Yeah, so a lot was happening. A lot was happening with that, and so that was really sad to hear about that. Ah, that's interesting. I'm hearing a lot of hail right now. It's a weird thing. And then of
Ooh,
course in 2020, this film Fall from Grace, a really good film, but still he suffers from that weirdness of is this the the screenplay, is it strong, or is it? But I liked it. I thought this was one of the films that he did for Netflix that I liked, but some people criticize this one as well, but it's another one of those films that's on the darker side. It wasn't comedy,
right.
it was no Madeir, it was on the dark side of things.
And I think that, with Tyler, I guess my opinion on that is, how we were so used to watching Denzel Washington in certain characteristics, and then all of a sudden he came and played American Gangster, and then
Yeah.
after that he came back and played his boy Tyrone in the movie that just lit him up, you know, and and when we saw that with Denzel change that hat over, well, you're looking at what he was trying to do, and I think out of all the movies, like you and I talked earlier today, that Acrimony with Taraji was the closest thing I thought about this movie that we looked at today. And the only reason why I say that, same kind of layout, different situation. In
Mm.
that movie, this dude was a crazy guy here. In that movie, Taraji was insane there. They was on the boat, they was on land, but it was the kind of similar concept. The only difference was Roger didn't have she had no way to come back out that water at the end of the movie. This one here, he kind of made a good situation bad because the bad people that did something, none of them lived. So it was a good twist on thing, but I think that Tyler is trying his best, in my personal opinion, to get away from, Madea. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And when you're looking at that, and you've done so many years of, it's only, so many things Madea did. She did everything all the way to going to jail. He put Madea in a whole situation except Madea staying in prison. That's about the next movie he could make because she was on her way there. But it was so funny. And then when you see him to branch off in some serious movies, it was kind of hard to take him on the serious side because there's so many Medea movies, right? I
Yeah.
love the one with Idris Elba, you know, and that was one of the most serious ones with the baby with Daddy's Girls.
Three,
And
yeah, Daddy's Little Girls. I
yeah,
actually like that one, but
I
I like
love that.
Idris though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But see, I'm a Kelly Rowland fan, you
Mhm.
know, but everyone thinks that Kelly is, you know, that singer. And again, that's why you can see she got upset because she said, "Hey, I am trying to take this career in a different direction," you know, especially coming off of SGA strike. You know, and I need to make some money. I need to get moving. And if you're gonna take me serious, you know, we need some reviews, not ask me about how Beyonce's doing. Call her, find out. The best
Right. And
interview
Mark
that
asks,
was
he says, question is can he escape the self typecasting? I don't know.
do what again?
Can he escape the self typecasting? In other
Well, I
words,
don't think so because
yeah.
well, let me put it to you like this, Mark. If it's a comedy, I'm gonna say no because
Okay.
he's been in every one of his comedies, and I don't think he can escape it. But if it
Okay.
comes to a what he consider a romance thriller type situation, then I think yes, because he has. I don't think he has a part in that he's written himself into that. So I think he can separate the two. The closest that he wrote himself into his movies and when he played the lawyer. Do you remember
And that
that?
was good deeds. That was good
Yes.
deeds. Yeah.
So when he played the lawyer, he kind of separated himself in that situation. Still has some comical things about it because Medea's in there. But once you take Medea, you take those comedic actors, actresses out of his movies, then Tyler doesn't appear. And then that's when he's trying to use the stretch of his imagination to give you something that you're not used to seeing from him, which is comedies.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Ultimately, with Mea Culpa, I, in good conscience, cannot recommend the film, and it's not because of the weird paint scene. I'll say it like that, paint scene that's in the film, but it's just, to me, it felt like it was too many holes in the story, and as I was trying to connect some things, it was like I wanted a little bit more deeper character development. And sometimes it's hard to do that when it's a 2 hour film. However,
Right.
it's been skillfully done by other filmmakers. But I have to remind myself, Tyler is writing all of his television shows. If you look on BET, he's Tyler Perry's all over BET.
He owns BT. Right.
Exactly. And then, of course, he's writing and also producing other things that's coming out that hasn't come out yet. I think he stated, and he kind of bragged about it, like I think they shot Mea Culpa in like 1 to 2 months or even less than that. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And the exteriors were shot in Chicago. So I'm like very happy about that. So it made me smile. I could tell
Oh, yeah.
when he probably went back to his studio to shoot some of the interiors, but he also
Beautiful.
stated, I was in Chicago. I wanted to make sure that I kind of captured the city or whatever. But
Yes.
he employs a lot of people, period. And
Yes.
I'm grateful for that. I just need him to have, and he doesn't have to, you know, if he wants to keep that writing credit, because I understand you can get a little, ego with that. Like, I want to keep the writing credit. I want to say it's written, produced, and directed by me. But I say have a couple people come in and say, let's talk about these plot holes, like Chandra Rhimes, and who produced all these great shows, including the Bridgerton series that's on Netflix. She brings in writers to
Well, let me give you an
write
example,
things.
Val. And I'll
Mhm.
give you an example. I want your thought process on this.
Mhm.
And this kind of goes along with what Tyler's doing. You let me know.
Mhm.
So here in Nashville, last weekend, which I thought was one of the coolest things I had ever heard. There's a group of young kids, college kids, that are trying to break it and make a name for themselves.
Mhm.
So they brought in 100 people, Val. They had a
Wow.
contest. They had a
Okay.
contest. And they brought 100 people in. And all they did is gave you a title. And they said, okay, Val and Tony and Springer and Mark and the guys listening, the name of this movie that we're going to write and we're going to come out with is called Johnny Goes to Jail, right? And
Okay.
what they did is they didn't tell anyone what to say and what not to say. And they gave everyone a sheet of paper. All 100 people took that paper home. They had 1 week to come back, and they wrote a story, a 1 page, no more than 1 pages, not two, not 1.5. One, fit all your information in that line there. And they came back last weekend as a group, and all 100 people came in and had a 100-page book, and they're
Wow.
producing it into a movie. I thought that was one of the coolest things that
Wow.
I had ever heard anyone to do through a book and possibly a movie. So I think along the lines that you're saying is that when you got a person like Tyler Perry with so many things going on, and he's trying to go left, right, middle, whatever, why not try something like that, where you bring in a group of writers, you bring in a group of young people, because it's kind of like music, Val, right? Back in the
Right.
day, like me and you was talking about Bob Marley, One Love, or Houdini's One Love, or LL Cool J. Music was 4 minutes and some seconds, right?
Mhm.
You had a break. You listened to a song. You got mad if the DJ pulled it off because you were waiting for the break. Now, now you got these artists are making hits, and the songs are no more than 2.5 minutes long, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But the moment
Mhm.
they come on, they're going off, and they're smash hits. I'm like, he ain't said nothing. So I think that when Tyler's doing these movies now, he's trying to stretch your imagination out. I think he's trying to figure out, okay, I want to see if you like it or you love it, or you're kind of like in the middle, and that's going to kind of set him up for the next thing he's trying to produce.
Yeah. And so, like I said, he has stated he does not care. I'm telling you, review after review after review, they are dogging this film like it is horrible.
And that's
It's
great. And
one of the worst
I'm like,
written films on Netflix.
I wouldn't care.
And I'm like,
You know why I
I have
wouldn't care, Val?
I have issues with the screenplay and I have issues with the paint scene. So yeah,
Right.
that's
And,
what I got. That's all I got.
and I, and I love the paint scene, fellas. Love the paint scene.
No, I don't.
And the
That's a
screen.
thumbs down for me because all I was
And
thinking is somebody gonna get infected with this
hey,
paint? So
all,
that's all
all
we're
I'm
gonna say.
saying,
That's all we're gonna say.
you and I like Roger and Ebert, right? We like Cisco and Ebert at home, right? Sitting in the movie theaters. And I'm gonna give it thumbs up. I like the paint scene. I just want to know what kind of paint they use it. But but the other thing too, what you just said is that that's what's going to make the movie sell. He understands that, Val. The more haters you get, the more people want to know why you hate the movie, so the more people are going to watch it. If everyone loved the movie, they say, "Oh, Tyler Perry, oh, it was a beautiful movie." Oh, Kelly wrote, ain't nobody watching that. But the moment you say, "Man, it's this," I hated that movie because of such and such and such and such, then people want to know what's that such and such, and they're going to watch that movie.
Right. And Mark says sometimes folks don't like to give up power, referring to Tyler, writing and directing everything. Sometimes you have to delegate. Can Tyler delegate? I don't, in writing and directing, I don't think so.
I don't think so either because he's been doing it for so long. That's like asking Michael Jordan to score 20 points and let everybody else do it. Mike ain't gonna do that. He gonna tell you better get out here on the court and be hooping, get your own 20,
Wait,
right?
Mark
If,
said
if,
there is body paint. That's all we're gonna say,
yeah,
man.
Mark, that's some body paint, Mark. Hey, look, hey, Mark, I'm from the South, baby. You know how they painted up the L back in the day? That's what kind of body paint. Just like they going, hey, Val, that's that Dan Ryan South Side to West Side paint on the L. You know what I'm saying?
No, 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 no. Like I said, I can't in good conscience recommend the film. All I can say is that I unfortunately I miss Madeir. And this is the point I want to make. Tyler, for your Christian community that loved you and built your career, you built your career on our backs. You gave us good family clean entertainment. Can we keep the paint to a minimum? That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna keep it moving.
There you go. And all I'm gonna tell you, Tyler, is good job, boy. I'm glad you expanded the imagination. And in order for you to capture that other crowd, to bring more men into what you're trying to do, these are the type of movies that you got to continue to make with the actresses like a Kelly Rowland. Go get Beyonce. I don't care. Whatever you got. Go get Taraji and pay. And this time, pay Taraji. You know what I'm saying? Go get Nikki back, boy. Go get Nikki and pay Nikki some money. But whatever you do, you got to continue to push this, because the movies that make arguments are good movies. And I think you're doing a great job to get away from Madea. Keep it moving.
I saw in the chat a little bit later, and I wasn't going to mention this, but it's hard not to mention this. You heard about
Oh,
this young
yeah.
lady, right? Over the weekend.
That really hurt me. As much as I really don't care for Wendy Williams, to know what she's going through and all that, just, kind of hurt me. That was just, and by the way, send a shout out to my girl, Mayana. What's up? What's going on? Thanks for checking in here on Interludes Talk on Tuesday with my girl, Val the Voice, and you already know me. But I hated to see what's going on with Wendy. What did you think about that? Or what do you think about that whole situation?
Well, they did a documentary, and I haven't had a
Yes.
chance to watch it just yet. It's currently on Lifetime, but she's the one that allowed the cameras to come in, and I've been kind of following some of the stories for it. I'll say this: I lived in New York. I did not listen to her radio show where she was very salacious and gossipy and all the rest of that. I loved her television show because that was the only persona that I knew.
Right.
And it breaks my heart because, I think there is a hot topics on just about every talk show that is a part of their format because of Wendy Williams. Like they literally copy that format from her. And for right now, I mean, she's dealing with some things and she's been diagnosed, but I think from some of the scenes that I saw in the preview of the documentary, there's a lot. I think unfortunately there's people around her that might be taking advantage of her.
Yep.
Her marriage unfortunately suffered
Yep.
and ended up going away. It was a lot that happened.
Yeah, and
And
that
for
was the start
someone
of her downfall.
right. And the weird thing, the person that was always talking about the hot topics ended up becoming a hot topic. And I don't unfortunately like that now she's at age 59 now. She's now been diagnosed with dementia and aphasia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
So
is
that's
tough.
I watched if you want to watch the shortened version, I end up seeing popped up on my computer. I'm always on there looking at things. But if you want to look at the interview with Gayle King,
Yeah.
I didn't know that the producer off of CBS was the one who actually she gave the okay, the only one to do it, and then Gayle came back. But to see her go through the transformational things with her mind from day to day, and I got a real life situation that I'm watching someone with dementia. It's kind of scary, and to see her have that plus the additional piece. And then the other thing is that they revealed is that African American, mainly women, develop this 80% more than their counterparts of Caucasian women. So, it's nothing to ride home about. It's a serious situation. So even though, because you got to look at, Val Wendy goes all the way back to 50 years of hip hop. She goes all the way back to the start of NWA, Public Enemy, Cool J, and all them coming out back in New York back in the day,
Right.
and whatnot. And to see her go through the grind of that, and then to make it out of that, then get her own talk show, and then at the end of the day, this is how you remember her. It's just rough.
Right. So I feel like with probably the right treatment and then just kind of that, let me make sure that I can, get I'm assuming the right medical care. I think she can quietly and privately get better. I
Yep.
don't know about dementia. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know how that works. But for the friends of mine and people that have loved ones, either aging parents or aunts or uncles, it's tough. It
Yep.
is so tough. One of our people here, Ashley, yes, my mom has it. So it's very tough for anyone that is in that caregiving situation where you're
Yep.
dealing with someone that is constantly forgetting and not remembering you,
Yep.
it's heartbreaking.
And then
It's
the hard
heartbreaking.
part about this situation, Val, is
Mhm.
that your loved one gets to be home with you behind the scene because no one knows who the hell you are. And she is a public figure. So they
Right.
are displaying every little situation that she has or goes through. They making a mockery of it. Look at her now. And they don't understand that this is part of this disease. And
Exactly.
that's why I try my best not to even watch it, even tune in. But when I saw that, because I'm a big Gail King fan, and Gail does great interviews of talking to people about certain things.
Mhm.
I tuned in and just listened to what Wendy had to say, and a lot of the stuff that just happened the last few years from a marriage and a downfall. A lot of stuff she don't even remember it right now, Beth. She has no idea.
Yeah. And the one thing, uh her talk show ended up transferring hands to Sherry Shepherd. She's doing a great job. I still see
I love
I think
Sherry.
production company still attached to it. So I feel like she's still, or at least her estate or someone is still making money off of currently what's happening with the Sherry Shepherd show. I'm not 100% sure about that. And Mark says, he says, my great aunt went through it, and I've had friends that have gone through it. It is very difficult. We're talking about dementia. A lot of times they don't even remember who you are and mistake you for others from their past.
That is
And
absolutely
so,
correct. It's absolutely correct. I get to see that firsthand almost on a daily basis, and it's and then the ones that they do remember, they stick close to you. When they see you, depending on what you do, if you take them for a walk, or if you take them for a ride in the car, or you just take them around the room, when they see you, they ready to do that because they think that's who you are. But if they don't know who you are, they're looking at you like you got four heads.
yeah, no, I know, and it's really tough. It's really tough. But like I said, the documentary is available on Lifetime. I haven't had a
Okay.
chance to see it, but and I don't know if I want to see it because it's like I don't want to. She's one of my heroes. It's one of the people. She's one of the people that I look to when I was thinking about doing something like a talk on Tuesdays. I'm like, hey, it would be like Wendy. But yeah, so it's heartbreaking. It's like seeing someone you thought of as like Superwoman being,
Right.
her cape and everything has been taken off, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But dementia is a very, very tough disease,
It's
and
real.
I saw this from Kevin Springer. Mr. Springer, thank you so much for saying that. He says it's very, very sad news. I saw it from Kevin earlier, but he says that we should probably just go ahead and pray for her and her family that have had to
Sure.
deal with that. And yeah, Mark said it's a long and painful journey. It really is. Thank you so very much for that, Ashley, as well. So yeah, but yeah, so that whew, I didn't want to end on that, but Mea Culpa, skip it. Bob
Thumbs
Marley,
up.
check
That's
it
it.
out.
As a matter of fact, go to the Hood Theater, take you a little cognac, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Get in your seat. And again, go to the Hood Theater so everybody gonna be talking. You don't get a chance to even watch the movie. So the point that Val told you, ain't even gonna see that because your homie next to you gonna be saying, man. And then when it comes to the paint scene, you might well just tell your girl just chill out for a minute because all the dudes gonna be looking at it anyway. See what I'm saying? That's how you gotta watch the
Skip,
movie, man.
skip the movie, especially if you are in the struggle, the Christian struggle. Stay away from the film. I
If
had to
you want,
fast forward it twice.
if you want to be an artist and a painter, you need to watch the movie to find out how to paint, how,
You just start in trouble right now. You
how
start
to paint
trouble.
on the canvas.
Thank
You
you.
need to
Kevin,
understand how to paint on the canvas. Watch this movie to teach you how to paint on the canvas.
exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin. Mr. Springer said it. MeaCulpa, I say skip it. And One Love, please go see it. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Springer.
Go see them both. Check them out. Hood Theater. And both of them in the Hood Theater. Just make sure.
Oh my gosh. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, our, 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 our movie review has been brought to you by the new book. It gets released next week. Woo! It
Now
is. A DJ saved my life. That's right.
yes,
And of
yes,
course, we'll
I
have
love
the
that.
we'll have the book cover reveal next week. Woo!
There you go.
So if you'd like to go ahead and order the ebook copy, go ahead and scan the QR code, or
Thank you.
you can click the link in the chat. I'll ask Mr. Springer to go ahead and place it in the chat. But yes, A DJ Saved My Life. It's been the last year of my life writing this book. And of course, just we want to thank Terry London, Nicole Thomas, Mr. Springer. Kevin purchased a copy. Jill Collins and others. Thank you so very much. Terrence P. Elmore of Brown Sugar Cafe. He's been a guest of the Interludes. Thank you so very much, guys. And so that is what's happening here on
That
Talk
is
on
just
Tuesday.
phenomenal. Now, Val, we must do more hood reviews like this.
Did you have fun doing the hood review?
Man, you got to continue to give me these wonderful movies so that we can be like, we the black version of Ebert and Cisco.
So one film I'm like thumbs up, one film I'm like thumbs down.
I'm like, go get them both, do your thing.
But join us on next week, the Pull Up Podcast. That is Coach Tony on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And of course, back with us on next week. Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. Who's your guest on next week for?
Man, I am excited. And I hope my girl is watching the show tonight. I sent her the thing. We have got a young lady that has come up through the heavy ranks, pushing in athletics, kind of like what we seen last week with my guest, Patty Medina. So my guest this week is a young lady kicking us off, Val, for Women in Sports Month for the month of March. It's none other than my girl, Jasmine Chivas, who is also in Chicago with you in athletics at the University of Loyola. So to talk to her, she's been part of the SEC at Missouri. She's a Fiskite out of Nashville. So I'm just excited to have her on the show. We go way back in the day. So it is great to see her, come up that ladder and to be in position, Val, to kind of talk to us about that climb and talk to us about, the difference between women making that climb in athletics, right, as opposed to men. Man, you just talked about it a few weeks ago about the women that are now coming up doing things like you doing in journalism and interviewing with ESPN and Fox Sports and all that stuff like that. So to see her giving an additional extension on what Patty gave us, it's going to be exciting. So don't meet me on Monday, beat me to Monday.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, come and join us on the Pull Up Podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's Coach Tony at his very, very best. So that'll be fun to see that. And we'll be back on next week for another edition of Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. On behalf of myself and Coach, we are out of here.
Peace.
Peace.